It's May, and this is the Library Roadshow. On the show today, surveys, edible books, and the farmer's market. Welcome to the May edition of the Library Roadshow. I'm Mary Stein, and this is a production of your East Baton Rouge Parish Library System. Before we dive into May, I want to look back at the past. Our first ever Edible Book Fest was a smashing success. The fact that it coincides with April Fool's Day tells you everything you need to know about this wacky exhibition. Even though we had short notice, we received over a dozen fantastic edible book submissions. Creators range from young children to grandmoms and everything in between. Members of the public voted for their favorites. Best in Show went to War and Peas, which featured green peas versus chickpeas, duking it out on a field of mashed potatoes and gravy. Most appetizing, and by chance a title that amplified our One Book, One Community theme, was a Chaffalaya Mouseboat. The Magic Cheese House, and my personal favorite, The Bun Also Rises, were just a few of the fabulous creations, and Skittle Women was consumed on the spot. You can bet we'll do it again next April, so start planning. On a more edible note, Chef Emeril Lagasse is this month's speaker at the Virtual Business Forum, and the Red Stick Farmers Market has returned to the main library in April, and they'll continue to hold an afternoon market each Tuesday from 3:30 to 6:30 p.m. So make the main library a stop on your way home after work or school. The Civic Orchestra of Baton Rouge and the Concert Band of Baton Rouge delivered two wonderful concerts in April, and they'll be back again in May, as will EBR School's talented music string orchestra. On a more serious note, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so we've posted a deep dive in the newsletter to showcase library and community resources for this important topic. The Bridge Center for Hope will host Bridging the Gap at the main library on May 17th. This event will highlight the many agencies and organizations that provide critical services and address mental and behavioral health challenges in our community. For details on these and a host of other free programs and events, visit the library's newsletter, The Source, available at the library or online at ebrpl.com.
Free access to books, audio, and library resources are just a few of the benefits available to you when you get a library card. Need free access to a computer? You get that. Want free access to premium digital resources like Mango Languages and lynda.com? You get that. Need to book a meeting space? You get that. Heck, you can even check out a telescope or use a digital printer with your library card. If you live in East Baton Rouge Parish, pick up your free library card from your local branch library today. Premium access to everything the library system has to offer is waiting for you.
We've all heard the phrase, follow the science, especially over the last few years. But where exactly is that, and how do you gain access to reliable scientific information? Well, through the library, of course. It's time to find out more in the digital download.
Access Science is your one-stop resource for scientific information. Whether it's a quick definition or you're looking to do a deep dive into a subject, you'll find nearly 9,000 articles covering science and technology topics from expert authors and reliable and respected publishers like McGraw-Hill. You can search or browse subjects from astronomy to health to zoology and everything in between. As well as definitions and articles, Access Science also contains biographies, videos, diagrams, and animations that bring learning to life. This is a great resource for homework, offering the ability to share articles, download an image, and it automatically generates citations for you. Click on the digital library at ebrpl.com to visit Access Science and our other key science resources, Science Reference Center and Gale Interactive Science, all free and available wherever you are with just your library card.
Thanks, Andrew. Access Science is great for students as well as for the general public. We've talked about citizen science this spring in some of our One Book, One Community programs, and even promoted the City Nature Challenge with the Louisiana Master Naturalists of Greater Baton Rouge. It all starts with a spirit of inquiry and discovery. And with Access Science, you don't have to sit in a science class to round out your knowledge. Let's shift gears and check in with Jessica McDaniel, reporting in from Beyond the Stacks.
This year's One Book, One Community selection highlights a lifestyle the author didn't want forgotten. She's here today at the main library at Goodwood to discuss why it's important to pass on these skills and stories to the next generation. Let's check it out.
I'm Gwen Roland, and I'm the author of a memoir, A Chapel Houseboat, that is the 2022 selection for One Book, One Community. The people who come today are going to hear how I took family stories, my own experiences in the swamp, and other resources that I have available today, like Facebook and Ancestry, to then write a novel set in 1907 in the Atchafalaya Basin that brings to life what I think the community would have been like when my grandmother was a child there. And by talking about that novel, I hope to encourage the audience to interview their elderly relatives, or if they are one of those elder people in their family, to start making some notes of things that they would like to pass down, and to use other resources like Ancestry and the other genealogy resources we have to give their descendants a handbook about their family. You know, I think for most people, through all generations, what you're doing on that single day of your life does not seem like it's going to be history, but it is. And whenever that history is captured, whether it's in a story, a drawing on a cave wall, or like today on a video, then it's kept then for education, for entertainment, for enrichment, for people that come afterward. And you just never know, just like in the play Our Town, a lot of times it's not the big famous incidents or battles or coronations that matter to the little people. It's the just everyday things of life in a community.
Learn more about family and community histories here at the main library with our Special Collections Department, or visit ebrpl.com.
Thanks, Jessica. It was marvelous to hear Gwen Roland recount some of her experiences on the Atchafalaya. She's such a natural storyteller, and she had such good stories to tell. Selecting her book, Atchafalaya Houseboat, to be our One Book, One Community title was a great decision. And the fact that our library patrons engaged in the series all spring by checking out the book, listening to the audiobook, downloading the ebook, watching the wonderful documentary by LPB, and participating in programs all over the parish simply underscores that fact. Don't forget that if you missed Gwen's visit, we've archived her presentation on the library's YouTube channel. Stay right there. After the break, Library Director Spencer Watts joins me for a chat right here on the Library Roadshow.
The East Baton Rouge Parish Library believes that free entertainment is good for us all. That's why we make ebooks and audiobooks available for free through the Libby app. Grant free access to unlimited streaming music and video through Freegal, Canopy, and IndieFlix. Get a library card. Get free entertainment at ebrpl.com/digital library.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
The East Baton Rouge Parish Library believes that access to data is good for us all. That's why we provide free access to data axle reference solutions so you can find employment through job search, gather industry information to guide your business insights, get a library card, get access to data at ebrpl.com/digital library.
You're watching the May edition of the Library Roadshow, everything you need to know about your local library system. If the library was a sailing vessel out on the ocean, Library Director Spencer Watts would be the captain of the ship, and as such, he's charged with charting our course. But he doesn't do it alone. We rely on input from the community to help us plan. So Spencer, what is the point of having something that's called a strategic plan?
Well, a strategic plan allows us or helps us to align the resources we need with goals and objectives so that we can achieve all those things that we want to achieve for the community. And ideally, that's the outcome of a collaborative process with the community where we engage in dialogue and also listen to what the community is telling us, observe behaviors of the people that we're serving. But also, from time to time, we need to try to make a really concerted, focused effort to get as much input and as much data as we can from the community to tell us where they want us to go, where they need us to go, what kind of services are most important to them, what kind of new and innovative ideas that they may have bubbling up that we need to be listening to.
Well, it seems like we just did one. So why do we have to do it again?
Well, it's important to keep your planning process, I think, very dynamic and proactive. And in today's world, there's more and more change happening more and more rapidly, it seems. And a lot has changed since the last time we put together our strategic plan. And on our latest attempt, where we're trying to kind of refresh the strategic plan and extend it and look at any additions or amendments we need, was disrupted by the pandemic.
Right.
So, and that change to the environment alone, it created some new challenges and changed some behaviors and altered some needs, perhaps, out in the community.
Right.
So.
Now, you mentioned talking to our patrons with the input that we're desiring. It's not just the people that already use the library, but we want to hear from the people who aren't using the library. Yeah. And why aren't they?
Well, that's correct, because we want to make sure that we deliver the best value possible for the investment that the public makes in the library. And that means making sure we're doing a good job in serving all those who are already using the library, but to make sure that where their needs, especially like in areas like early childhood literacy, healthcare information, all kinds of helping with our career center and our small entrepreneurship programs and our business support programs, that all those things are reaching all the people who could benefit from them.
So how do people give us this input?
Okay, well, right now we're asking people to help us out by being involved with a community survey that we have out. And it's, you can access it through a variety of ways. It's here on our workstations at the library if you come and use it, but it's also available on the web. There are different ways to reach that, and a lot of you will be getting emails or other prompts to ask you to participate. And so we really ask that you do participate if you can, because it's just part of that important data gathering, and it helps us. We want every voice to be heard, and so we want you to join in with what you need to tell us about the library.
Right. Well, it's easy to become part of the planning process. Simply follow the QR code, click the link on the library's website, select the icon on any public library computer, or visit ebrpl.com/survey. We'll even print it out on paper if you prefer. So there's no reason not to weigh in. After the break, Paris Daniels, plus book reviews from one of our younger library patrons. All that and more coming up next on the Library Roadshow.
The East Baton Rouge Parish Library believes that staying informed is good for us all. That's why we provide free access to the New York Times and other national newspapers online. Permit free access to niche magazines and articles through Press Reader. Get a library card. Get informed at ebrpl.com/newspapers.
So I've come up with the family emergency plan.
Great. What is it?
It's difficult to talk about, so I'm not telling you.
How will we know what to do?
You won't.
I'm so glad I won't have to remember anything.
And me too. Thanks for this, sweetie.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
The East Baton Rouge Parish Library believes that supporting the education of students is good for us all. That's why we provide access to live, in-person, online tutoring through Homework Louisiana. Make available free test preparation tools through Learning Express. Plus, reference tools for all ages. Get a library card. Get free education at ebrpl.com/homeworkhelp.
Welcome back to the May edition of the Library Roadshow. Music theory can be an intimidating subject for youngsters to wrap their heads around. One local author has put pen to paper to help with that. Paris Daniels joins me now by phone to introduce her new book entitled, Where's Alto? Paris, introduce yourself and tell us how you got started as an author.
I am Paris T. Daniels, and I am truly grateful for this opportunity to be presented with you all. I became an author when I realized my rough draft writings of ideas piqued the interest of children.
What's this book about?
My book is about introducing music theory, music terminology, and music concepts in a creative, fun, and engaging way. Also, it gives shine and showcases the alto clef, which in my personal experience, this clef doesn't receive as much shine as the other music clefs.
What inspired you to write your books?
What inspired me to write this book was God's creative way of placing me amongst the right people, within the right places, and instilling the idea for the book within my heart. A couple years ago, while I was working at a daycare and pursuing my bachelor's in music education, my first book for You're in Big Trouble came to my heart. As I wrote each page, a young girl named Natalie would take the page to her friends, and she just kept coming back for more. It was at this moment that I realized, wow, my writings are really piquing the interest of these children. So with the guidance of other fellow authors, Jared Green and Antoine Lacey, as well as with assistance from my graphic designer, Paris Edwards, I was able to become a self-published author. And I decided I wanted to create my writings into a music series, which is how Where's Alto got its origin.
What do you hope readers will take away from this book?
I hope that readers gain an insight on the world of music through my writings concerning its foundation of music theory, music terminology, and music concepts through the fun, engaging, and creative way that I present them inside of the book.
How can our viewers learn more about you and your work?
If viewers want to learn more about me, they can reach me via LinkedIn at Paris Daniels, YouTube _Soulfully Paris, or they can reach out via email at paristdaniels@gmail.com. Thank you.
I love your approach. I'm sure that kids who follow along will be inspired to compose their own music. You've given them the encouragement to create. It's now time to check in with one of our younger patrons to find out what they've been reading at the library.
My name is Mason. I'm in 3rd grade. I am 8 years old, and my favorite books are lions. Lions also hunt small prey, such as birds and reptiles. Females do most of the hunting. They usually hunt when it's mostly dark. Early morning and evening are the best times for hunting. So say like a king lion is there. You have to kill the lion You have to kill the king to be the king. When I come to the library, I like to read about wild animals and my favorite dogs.
Thanks, Mason. Stay right there. You're watching the May edition of the Library Roadshow.
The East Baton Rouge Parish Library System believes that knowing where you come from is good for us all. That's why we grant free access to genealogy resources available through Ancestry.com, make the vast historic resources of Heritage Quest available to you online. Get a library card. Get your family tree at ebrpl.com/genealogy.
That's low and below.
Look, he's blushing.
Seriously? Okay.
The East Baton Rouge Parish Library believes that free entertainment is good for us all. That's why we make ebooks and audiobooks available for free through the Libby app. Grant free access to unlimited streaming music and video through Freegal, Canopy, and IndieFlix. Get a library card. Get free entertainment at ebrpl.com/digital library.
You're watching the May edition of the Library Roadshow, a production of your East Baton Rouge Parish Library System. April's been filled with programming to complement our One Book, One Community book entitled Atchafalaya Houseboat. The book depicts a life lived in the Atchafalaya Swamp, up close and personal, with native Louisiana wildlife. So we recently welcomed the LSU Wildlife Hospital to the main library to get our patrons up close and personal with Louisiana birds of prey.
My name is Mariella Cohn. I'm a first-year veterinary student with LSU, and we're here today with our raptors from the Wildlife Hospital. We're a student-led rehab program for these raptor species, so any patient that comes through Louisiana's Wildlife Hospital at the veterinary school actually gets released to us before it's released to the wild. We take these birds in at various stages of injury after they're treated via surgery or other special treatments that the hospital gives them, and we just get them ready to be released. We do a series of trials and make sure that they're able to hunt for themselves, fly normally, and see normally before they go back out. If they are unable to be released, they actually come and live with us for the remainder of their lives. So that's what we're doing today, is introducing some of our residents that serve as just beacons of what we do, and they're really cool. So.
The program lasted 30 minutes, during which Mariella and her fellow vet students presented 3 of their resident raptors, an owl, an American kestrel, and a red-tailed hawk. These native birds certainly got the attention of our patrons and prompted lots of questions from the kids.
We do this to educate people on how wildlife do get injured and why they do have to end up coming to the hospital. Because a lot of it is due to people. It's car wrecks hitting them, people shooting our birds, and things like that that are very tragic and shouldn't be happening. So our goal is to educate people on, treating these wildlife fairly and getting them back out into the wild and how important that is. It's really great to have places that let us come. We're so grateful every single time somebody reaches out and is actually excited to meet our birds, and to have places like this library and other meeting areas throughout Baton Rouge that accept us and are very excited to have us is huge. We really appreciate it.
All spring, our One Book, One Community programming has really benefited from the continued support and engagement of our local community agencies and nonprofit organizations who work with wildlife and fisheries, as well as those who work with Louisiana's wonderful wetlands. They've sustained us as well as our environment. Their participation is so appreciated.
Springtime is a wonderful time to connect to your community's roots. We're here at the Pride-Chaneyville Branch Library for a visit to Grandma's house. Let's check it out.
Hi, I'm Faye Talbot. We're here at the Pride-Chaneyville Library. Today is Community History Day, And our theme this year is Grandma's House. In our meeting room, they set up today all kinds of things about like Grandma's advice, Grandma's cooking, and we have handouts you can take away. We've asking people to write down advice what Grandma said to them. You know, there's always something like don't say anything if you can't say anything nice, or clean your plate. So it's a fun room. We've got some vendors here today, free snowballs, free popcorn. We have a cakewalk for the children, and we have people selling crocheted items. So we have a crochet group here at Pride-Chaneyville that meets once a week. So they're selling items. We have candle makers, we have soap makers. So, and then we have people from the community, like LSU sends out somebody, a master gardener. So the community loves it. They come out and it brings them together for the day.
My name is Donna Long. I am from Pride, and I love Community History Day. We don't have a lot of activities out here. We have churches and we have the schools, so this is a big deal. And there are people that don't live here any longer, but they live in Baton Rouge, Clinton, Jackson, or somewhere, and they come to it. And we get to see people we don't get to see very often.
This would have been our 14th year, but we missed 2 because of COVID. So it's number 12, and each year we have a different theme. Our library is so unique because we're so rural. When we first started, this was like the Office Depot in the country, because a lot of these people don't have internet in their homes. So they come here to use the computers, they print, they copy, they fax, and then they come and crochet, they get books, they get DVDs. I mean, it really offers a service. Some of these people don't even have cars. We have a young lady that comes on a bicycle from like two miles away. So it's a great service for these people here in this rural area.
With the theme at Grandma's House, this year's Pride-Chaneyville Community History Festival was a perfect complement to the Spring One Book, One Community series. Passing stories and getting a glimpse into a simpler time struck just the right note for 2022. And now for today's contest. Visit the library's Facebook page at facebook.com/EBRPL. It's your last chance to share out your own edible book creation. And remember, you don't have to actually eat it once you've done it. It just has to be made of ingredients that once were edible, at least until you got your hands on them. That's facebook.com/EBRPL. And while you're there, enjoy. We are not your grandfather's library anymore. What's coming up on the Library Roadshow in June? You even have to ask? Summer reading, of course.
Tune into the show next month and I'll share another free resource from inside the digital library at ebrpl.com.
Next month, you'll learn about another service offered at your local branch library.
Thanks so much for joining us on the Library Roadshow. And remember, your East Baton Rouge Parish Library is open 7 days a week at each and every one of 14 branches, plus 24/7 on the web. Check us out at ebrpl.com.